All right, y'all. Today we're going to check out, see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for its local Google search, West Pasco, Washington, or see if it has it for its city search, Tri-Cities, Washington. So we're back in the GBC universe, where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, where we focus on full spectrum intent capture. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our, FSIC down there in white, high intent peeps on the left, low intent peeps on the right. And if a boudoir photography business is rising, most likely they're pulling in peeps from, this entire intent spectrum. But if we got a boudoir photography business that's falling, we're missing some chunks of people somewhere. And way over on the left, the highest intent peeps, that's Google search, social search. People searching for boudoir photo shoot in their city, like right now. That's where we focus on talking about BSS, which is what we do here. And way over on the right, that's the lowest intent people. They ain't searching for boudoir right now. They most likely don't even know what the heck it is. So that's our sister brand. We're talking about BLCS, and right now with that brand, we're only working with boudoir photographers currently running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. All right, so BSS boudoir search sameness. That's when a boudoir photographer has 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google, and 0 slots is, that's a fast death of a business because we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never hit page 2. So we're invisible to literally 4 out of every 5 people if we're on page 2. Our business is going downhill fast. We care about being visible to the approximately 80% of searches that are page 1 only searches because they're the bulk of the market. Now, 1 slot on page 1 of Google is no bueno as well because basically, every other boudoir photographer on page 1 is going to have 1 slot as well at minimum. And so and there's 10 organic slots on page 1 of Google. And as a result, we're actually going to, we'll look the same as everyone else. When we look the same as everyone else, we will, buyers are just going to click. 80% of buyers anyway are going to, that's our page 1 search only. They're going to click and every single link on page 1, open everyone's website, fill out everyone's contact form, price shop everyone, get the best, offer rate for themselves. And, it's kind of just death by 1,000 cuts there. So we do not want to have BSS. And it's also because 0 or 1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which most people know about. That's, seems like every week someone gets a new iPhone, they turn out their Google My Business profile, and their website's an issue boudoir. So it's kind of, making it harder to rank on page 1 of Google. And, or someone gets a new camera, then they start posting in the mom Facebook groups that they now shoot boudoir. So it's more sellers for the same number of buyers, makes it harder for each seller to get buyers. And this happened, kind of big way with COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs, but couldn't earn money, but they still needed to earn money. So guess what? Everyone's already got a smartphone with an awesome camera, triple cameras on it. So it's really easy for people to turn and become boudoir photographers. Increase in supply, but demands remain the same. So that's market saturation. Now, the new one that most people have never even heard of is the false belief of page 1 equality. So a lot of boudoir photographers actually believe, okay, every boudoir photographer gets 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google just kind of naturally. That's simply how it happens. And, maybe we were on page 1, but new boudoir photographer came in, ranked the website above ours, we got pushed off. And as a result, we kind of just, that's simply how it is. I guess, we'll have to wait, hope they delete their website and Google stops indexing them for us to hopefully get back on page 1. And hopefully Google doesn't pull in somebody else to page 1 ahead of us. But this is actually a false belief. And I know it's a false belief because I know that Google will give as many page 1 slots to peeps as they want. And, as they're willing to put in the effort to acquire those, kind of those slots. So I know this because I actually went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google in only 10 days using this new methodology I developed. So false belief of page 1 equality. Basically, we got to kind of break through this mental barrier, break through this, kind of this false belief, so we can even look around and see if there are solutions available that can solve it. Because people kind of naturally accepted this thing could not be solved. Now, Boudoir Photographer BSS is a disappearing Boudoir Photographer, a DBP. Yeah, because we got 0 slots on page 1 and we're on page 2 or deeper. Yeah, basically, approximately 80% of searchers have never seen us. We're definitely disappearing Boudoir Photographer, which matters because that is the first signal, the first kind of flashing emergency signal, emergency light that says, that basically says the boudoir photography business as a whole is eventually going to be disappearing. And same thing with 1 slot on page 1 of Google. I mean, we're still basically invisible. We're looking the same as everyone else. We're being price shopped to death. Just a real waste of time. So, it's the start of our universe here on the left. A disappearing boudoir photographer with BSS is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and page 1 equality, or the false belief of page 1 equality, which causes people to not act and go out there and take as many page 1 slots in Google as they want, because Google will give them. Now, luckily, we do have the solution. I created it. We know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S-cubed methodology. And it works exactly as it says. We saturate social search with the highest intent buyer keywords. And when we do that, it's kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains down in South America, or kind of the small streams, the small rivers. That's saturating social search, and those eventually all flow together down to the big Amazon River. And that is that's Google page 1. So it's kind of everything flows to Google page 1, but it starts with saturating social search. Now, this is the exact strategy I use to go from, again, 0 out of 10 slots page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 in 10 days. Show those results here in a little bit. And this is actually the only strategy I've seen for boudoir photographers that enables a boudoir photography business to actually successfully fight back against market saturation, and then to actually still continue to grow the business in the face of market saturation in a relatively quick time frame. Technically, the only other thing that can successfully do that is brand, having a massive, large, well-known brand. But dude, that takes 5 to 10 years. We ain't got 5 to 10 years. AI is here taking people's, going to start taking people's jobs. Actually, I believe it already has, and it's going to be taking more and more and more people's jobs. So the reason that I see that is the only strategy that can do this in a relatively quick time frame is imagine we're in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're one boudoir photographer there, but there's a million total competing in the marketplace. Everyone's got their website, so we're all trying to rank up on Google page 1. But we say, okay, SQ methodology is the only thing that can actually help me compete ASAP, faster than anything else, without spending ads, without having to build a brand. Then what we do is we actually crank SQ methodology up to the max. So this is like what we would do in this scenario, crank it up to the max, or this hypothetical scenario. And let's say we get for 300 page 1 slots on Google, or across all the social networks for the highest intent keywords. And after we do that, we also, those flow onto Google, and let's say we get the first 300 slots on Google as well. That's like literally the first 30 pages. And as a result of that, anytime any buyer in our city is looking anywhere for us, or not for us, but for boudoir photo shoot, whatever those highest intent keywords are, anywhere, searching on social networks, all the largest ones, or searching on Google itself, they literally only see us for the first like 30 pages. And if approximately 80% of searches never even hit page 2, then basically ain't nobody hitting page 31, which is where basically our competitors start. So obviously, if they can really only find us when they're searching, whose business will continue to grow? Ours. Whose business will, will continue to decrease? Well, that's the other 999,999 boudoir photography businesses competing against us in the same city market, because we, turned SQ methodology up to the max and do way faster than create a brand, way faster. And also, I believe it'll, help create a brand, I don't know, estimate 8x faster, just because of how many surfaces we'll actually be on. Now, once you're with the SQ methodology, we have page 1 visibility, P1V. And, this next initial benefit, first one is, getting the slots page 1 on Google. And then the second one is every new page 1 slot we get on Google, we are kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1, effectively making them invisible. Now, this is super awesome because now we know if we're kicking our competitor off page 1 of Google, they're page 2 or deeper, approximately 80% of peeps ain't never going to find them because we know approximately 80% of Google searches are page 1 only searches. They never even hit page 2. And if someone instead use a strategy to do it to us, then we're the ones being made invisible. Now, page 1 visibility activates Boudoir search visibility for us. And Boudoir search visibility, this is our GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google. Because if everyone else got 1 slot and we got 3, well, buyers may not even click on anyone else. They may only click on ours because like, man, why does Google recommend these people, this person 3 times? There must be some reason. They must be good. And we actually kind of dominate everyone else on the page. And there's always like a very, very tiny chance someone could have 2 slots page 1 on Google as well. That's rare, though, especially in the cities with city searches because there's so much competition for keywords. And so as a result, even if the super rare chance someone has, two slots, there are 3 slots still dominate them as well. And a boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness, which is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and page 1 methodology, or the false belief of page 1 equality. Then now we have the solution, SQ methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. All right, so now my results. This is the keyword I want to rank for, BLCS Boudoir. It's for our sister brand. And I exclusively used SQ methodology to do exactly this. And what I did, well, let's see the results. This after 10 days. So we got slot 1, organic, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. And slot 10, me. So dude, 9 out of 10 slots Google page 1 in 10 days. This is my results I got using this methodology. All right, so main event here. I'm going to see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for the local search and the city search, these 2 Google searches. All right, so let's look at West Pasco. So it's the local search. So let's see what we got. Going down to organic. So here we go. We got 1. Boom, we got 2. Let's see. Boom, we got 3. Boom, we got 4. All right, so we got 4 out of 10. Awesome. So we do not have BSS for our local search, and we do meet the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10. Good. So we've kicked off a bunch of competitors from our, from our search here. So that's local. Let's search at the city level. Same Tri-Cities, Washington. Check this out. Boom. All right, we got 1. That's a sponsored. Nice. We got 2 right there with the threads. Nice. We got 3. All right, boom. This is perfect. This is exactly what we want. So we do not have, so going back. So we do not have BSS for the local search. We do not have BSS for the city search. That's super awesome. We've hit the GBC minimum for both. So I can basically guarantee this business is not disappearing. So they're either treading water or most likely growing because they're hitting all the metrics we got to be hitting for the highest intent people. Those are closest to the money, easiest to convert. So perfect. This is exactly what we want to see. That's what every boudoir photographer needs to get to. Well, for those that want to become the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've done your local search, you've done your city search, and you actually see, you've got BSS for either or both of them, or you're not meeting GBC minimum, recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page 1 Google slots for either or both of them. And you're like, all right, you realize you got BSS. You understand page 1 equality. There's a false belief, and you're like, all right, I broke through that. I need to achieve, I need to get as many page 1 Google slots as possible. And you also understand the market saturation with, the new iPhones, more boudoir photographers coming in, new cameras, more boudoir photographers coming in. But you're also looking ahead and you're saying, man, AI is taking a ton of people's jobs. Last time a bunch of people lost their job, COVID, a huge tsunami of boudoir photographers coming in. So you've actually decided, hey, you got to fortify your life right now and actually get as many page 1 slots on Google which is only a downflow getting as many page one slots on social search for all the social network searches. It's downstream of that. Before all these boudoir photographers come into the market, come into the city, and start making their websites, ranking, competing for page one, kind of like prepare, kind of like the levees in New Orleans, since the city is below sea level, kind of like build those levees up to prevent floodwaters or the flood of boudoir photographers from taking your market share. And you're seeing, okay, SQL methodology is the only solution that can get me there effectively. And you want to achieve page one visibility, hit the GBC minimum, recommended minimum of 3 out of 10. Become a visible boudoir photographer, have boudoir search visibility, because you know you need this on your way to become the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you also know that you actually, there's actually hidden back-end benefits of doing this SQ methodology as well, we have not talked about yet. First one would be in we're building thematic keyword columns around our brand name, our social handles, our website, and all that. As we do SQ methodology more and more, it increases the probability we get actually recommended for AI overviews. Here at the top, premium placement, only one slot for local search and city search. And you also want the back-end benefits of every time we execute another day we execute SQ methodology, increasing the probability we get recommended through all the AI search engines, ChatGPT search, Claude search, Perplexity search, Microsoft Copilot search, Google Gemini search. These all run on, thematic keyword clusters, authority, age. And so every day we execute the execute methodology, we're increasing that, probably getting recommended there. And we know more, literally, Google still has, I believe, like 89 or 90% of global search share. But due to AI search, using more and more and eating into Google every single day. I haven't used standard Google search in literally like a year to actually click websites and open and read stuff. I've always been using the Google AI mode. And so you want these back-end benefits. You also decide you want to be the first mover in your city, because you recognize, my current plan is to only work with one person per city on this. So you kind of want to box out your competitors and kind of achieve all this front-end results, hit the GBC minimum 3 out of 10 on page one, kick out competitors off page one, effectively make them invisible to approximately 80% of searchers who never go to page two, and build these momentum on the back end, which is higher probability AI overview, higher probability being recommended AI search, and higher probability nobody in your city ever catches you. Putting more distance between you and them, by building up this thematic keyword columns attached to your brand for the backend for AI search engines to be recommending into the future. Because I know last time I used Google or ChatGPT to search for boudoir photographers in a city, dude, it only gave me 3. I'm like, what? There's like 60 in this city. It literally only displayed 3. So we want a higher chance of being those 3. And you also know if someone else in your city jumps on this first, they lock you out, well, you're gonna have to derive or figure out SQ methodology on your own. And then you have to go execute it, but you won't be confident executing it because you don't know if you've even derived it correctly to use it correctly. And then you'd have to equal our output with your competitor to just maintain the gap. You'd have to actually exceed our output with your competitor for us, to actually make up ground on us and kind of take back the momentum that we're building in the back-end AI search and the front-end results we get kicking you off page one of Google. So you've decided, screw that. I'd rather be the first mover in my city, give myself the highest chance of blocking out all the boudoir photographers coming from AI. They're going to be forced losing their jobs, but people still got to earn money. And you decide SQ methodology is the solution you want, the path you want to take. So shoot me a DM. Not right now. My DMs are full, or my DMs are closed. The hospital We're not taking any new patients right now, but